Welcome to T is for Transformation. I'm your host, Shaun T, and I'm so excited for you to be here today because you are going to learn more about people just like you to help you continue to transform your life. There are so many times in our lives where we put these barriers in the way, and not only do we put the barriers in the way, but we build on the barriers, and the barriers become our foundation. And today, we are going to squash that. We're going to find a way to help you push forward and literally continue to believe in yourselves. You all know that my journey started with a 50-pound weight loss. And you know now that I'm not necessarily about weight loss. I'm about what are you gaining from the process that you're taking to get yourself to the place that you want to be, mind, body, and soul. And so we're going to find a way and help you figure out how to persevere through those struggles that you've been having. Today's guest is going to take you on a journey that literally you have never heard before, and you're going to be so empowered. Sherein Miceli, her transformation story is an extraordinary tale of overcoming a life-altering medical challenge, and through that, achieving personal growth. This story is a powerful reminder of the human capacity to adapt, overcome, and find strength in the face of adversity, emphasizing the importance of a core support group, self-belief, and the determination to do hard things. Here's Sherein's story.
It was a 13-hour surgery. Unfortunately, the tumor did take the sight in my left eye. I ended up having to try to figure out, how do I work with this? It's still difficult for me today with the mental part of it. I try not to have the why me. It's been one of these challenges for us as a family to kind of work through together. Oh man, Shaun, God, love him. The motivation that he gives, no matter what he's doing, it's like you feel like he's one of your best friends. It's like, oh, well, if Shaun says it's gonna be okay today, then I know it's gonna be okay. I think patience has been something that I've learned. It's patience more with myself. I have to live the best that I can every single day. Don't take anything for granted. Give yourself a little bit of grace and know that at the end of the day, whatever you believe in, it does work out, and know that it's okay and that you are doing the best that you can. If I can get somebody to say, because of you is why I did X, Y, Z, that alone is just enough gratitude.
Have a seat, make yourself comfortable. First of all, I just want to say your energy is infectious.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's really amazing and fantastic. So you're from Egypt. I just want to know your Egyptian name. I just think it's fun to know.
All right, so my Egyptian name is Sherein Amir Mahmoud Mazir Reiter.
How did you get that name?
One of the big cultures in Egypt is you have your two grandfathers' middle names as your middle name. So those are both of my grandfathers in there. And then Amir is my dad's name. So the big tradition, even my son, his middle name is Vincenzo Anthony Amir. Gosh. So that way we can kind of keep that tradition going.
I love a good fun fact. I love a good fun fact, but let's get to the facts.
Okay, let's go.
I need you to go from the time you walked into the eye doctor and he left the room and you were like, wait a minute, what is happening?
Yeah. So when you're getting your eye exam and they're like, what row can you read? And I actually said to him, did you cover the right eye? Did you cover the left eye? I still can't see anything. And he goes, I'll be right back. And I was like, wait, this isn't good. Can you come back here, please?
Yeah.
And he basically said to me, we have a problem. I don't want to alarm you, but I need you to go see this doctor. And I was like, okay, I'll go. I go there to the other, he's more of a specialist, and he had me sit through my very first MRI, and I get the results back pretty quickly. Now, normally when you get results back, you have a nurse call you, right? It's not a doctor. And I was actually at work and I kept seeing this number coming on over and over and over again. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go pick it up. And then I pick it up and he was like, hi, this is, and he said, I just want to talk to you about your results. And I was like, oh, okay, what's up? And he's like, you have a brain tumor. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, I need you to get to see a neurosurgeon. And I was like, oh, okay.
You seem so passive. You were
just kind of but it didn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get it. After the MRI, after meeting with the neurosurgeon, we were kind of talking about, we were just kind of sitting like this, and he's talking to me. It's a teaching hospital, so they got a couple fellows there too. And he's like, I haven't really decided which way I'm gonna go through your surgery. And I was like, oh, all right, okay. And he was like, I might go through the nose, I might go through the skull. And I was like, is this day surgery? And the fellows were like, you have no idea what's happening. And I was like, no, what's going on? And they're like, you're going to have brain surgery. Like, you're going to be in the hospital for a week. And that was when I first experienced a panic attack because I didn't know what was going on. Yeah. And that's when it really hit.
Before we continue, because there's something about you in this story where me, as a person who has to fight the hypochondria, you know, fear, you seem to have a baseline of positive thinking. Where does that come from? Because I need to understand how that foundation is there.
For me, because I've had to kind of also overcome my daughter's medical, it's every day just trying to think of like, somebody else has it worse out there than me. So even in the shock of it, I was like, oh, well, it's not cancerous. So that's good. Yeah. You know, like I was just trying to find the positive of it.
Perspective. Okay, so you go in, they're like, you're gonna have to get brain surgery. You're like, I'm having a panic attack.
Yep.
What's next?
So I actually, like, at that point, didn't really even tell my parents. So
oh my God.
It's because it just didn't hit.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so strange. And looking back now, I'm like, what was I thinking? So I did tell my parents, I'm like, so I guess I'm having surgery. And they're like, okay. So we kind of come up with the date, and he says to me flat out again, like, I am not sure what I'm gonna do until that day. So like, we didn't even talk about like, what will happen physically. We didn't say anything. I didn't even have a name for the tumor. And I was like, all right. And then next thing you know, we get ready for surgery, and he's like, I'm going through the skull.
And at this point, you're freaking out, but you're still kind of like, this is just what I have to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else I can do. And at this point too, like, I know that I was having vision issues, but I didn't know. Like, I didn't know.
What were kind of the symptoms before you went to the doctor? Because, you know, we always say, people always say, well, there's something going on. I just didn't know what it was. Did you have any of those?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was out on a trip in Vegas with my girlfriend, Tina, and we were trying to get ready for the last night. And I was like, hey, how much did I drink? Like, because, you know, and she's like, not much. Why? You don't really like to drink. And I was like, my eyes super blurry. And she goes, oh. And I was like, you know what? I have to get my contacts checked. Like, maybe that's why. And I was like, they're kind of probably overdue. And she's like, okay. So we just kind of like, she did my makeup that night and we just went out.
You go through surgery, you come out of surgery, and what did they find?
The surgery was only supposed to be 5 hours. It ended up going over 13. So they ended up finding 3 tumors. So they found the one that's on the optic nerve, and then they found 2 more on the sinus. And one of the ones on the sinus was actually going towards my right eye.
Recovering from that, you know, they said you were going to be in the hospital for a week. Was it a week? Was it more than a week?
It was about a week. We did have a few scary spells with it. One of the parts, like, you're trying to stages of like gradually going up with the bed. And every time I did that, my nose would start bleeding. So that continued to happen. And we were really nervous because they were like, maybe we need to go back in and fix something. But luckily, so I was in there for about a week, and the recovery was probably about 6 months.
When people have, you know, a broken ankle, MCL, ACL surgery, for me, shoulder surgery, yes, 8 weeks, you know, but I'm trying to be mobile in a joint or something.
Yeah.
This is your eyesight and your brain and cognitive abilities. So what was the evolution of the struggle, reaching a point where you're like, I feel next to normal again?
I still don't feel next to normal, to be honest with you. In that recovery is when I realized I couldn't see. And I ended up calling the doctors, and they did some testing, and that's when they realized that the optic nerve was completely gone. Just simple things like, I mean, I'm kind of positioned in a different way because I won't be able to see you. It was really trying to just learn simple things like walking up the stairs to my house to go to my bedroom. I would hit that wall all the time because the peripheral of it was completely gone. Yeah. So just these small steps of learning, like grocery store shopping, driving in a new town. We love Disney. But those types of crowded areas get very, very scary for me, that we've had to adapt as a family to figure out, like, okay, somebody has to be on my left side at all times that I know.
So you can't see it all out of your left eye?
Completely blind in the left eye.
So what is it like when, you know, because my family, like, I hug my kids, Scott comes up behind me, hugs me. How is it with your family and just interacting in the house?
It's pretty good. Like, my husband, we really try to, like, remember, but as you can see when you're looking at me, my eyes move.
You can't tell
so
at all.
You can't tell. So sometimes he's come up behind me to, like, give me like a hug, and I actually freak out. I'm like, oh my God. And I like freak because not that I don't know who it is, it's just coming at you without knowing.
In your entire life, you weren't experiencing that.
Nothing. Yes.
Need to adjust to that.
No, even like my kids, my 3-year-old, he doesn't know. So when he's trying to play, he'll just come at me like this. And he's hit me multiple times. So we have to be like, Mommy can't see on that side, Vinny. It's okay. Like, we just got to go on the other side if we're flipping off the couch. So those types of things really were difficult for me to like express. And then I would get really angry because they wouldn't remember. But after a while, I had to be like, you can't be angry. Like, you've got to, like, this is just something we have to deal with. So you can't take it out on them that they don't remember because they're your
because
family.
they just don't know. We're talking about transformation, and a lot of people don't struggle with this. Like, if you look at the perspective, it's like, oh, I just don't feel like doing something today. But, and not to undermine someone's emotion to be like, oh, I'm tired today, but people that complain or find excuses, how do you keep going knowing I know you have a 19-year-old, you have a 3-year-old, you have a husband who is super supportive. How do you continue to push forward? Just, let's not even talk about exercise, just in your life in general, and being able to keep a positive attitude with your family, you know, and friends.
I really just try to be 1% better every single day. And I really try, and I do a lot with meditation. I do a lot with journaling. I do a lot with that. I get up at 3:30 in the morning because everybody's sleeping, and I'm able to take that time for myself to get myself ready. But I just try to be 1% better for them. And I really just want to be a role model for them. And I want to be that person so they understand, like, yes, there's something going on with Mommy, but it's okay. And this is why it's okay. And she's able to do the things that she wants to do.
You come with a really amazing perspective. And I know you're big on finding gratitude, like, within yourself. Tell me about that.
For me, finding that gratitude helps put everything in perspective, where you're there. Like I said before, there's always something worse out there. So if the only thing I can think about or write about for gratitude is that I'm happy that I was able to tuck my kids to bed and read them a story, that's great. Or I saw the sunrise today. Like, it doesn't have to be something so big like I won the lottery, right? It's just something simple. And there have been many times where I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I can't think of anything. You know what I mean? It's something as simple as I woke up today.
Yeah.
I'm still able to see.
It's almost like my husband would say to me and himself in times of feeling insecure, he's like, there's always going to be someone taller, there's always going to be someone shorter, there's always going to be someone prettier, there's always going to be someone with better or worse teeth or whatever. So you kind of have to find what it is in yourself at this moment that you can be thankful for.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to get into the nitty gritty of this because we share something in common. And the reason why I'm really excited to talk about this is because of the fact that surprisingly went to the doctor, found out you had a brain tumor, then there were 3, had to get it through your skull, you had a panic attack, you're adjusting to your family, but then you go to the gym and you're like, I'm going to enter a bikini competition. What?
Yep.
Like, what y'all want to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because I'm all ears, you know what I'm saying? So tell me, what was the motivation behind it? And you did CrossFit. So let's talk about that. I need it all.
Okay, let's start with the bikini competition. So I've always wanted to get on stage, okay? And I don't even know why, but I was like, I could do this. So I did join like a bikini team, which was really such an incredible experience for me. I ended up doing it for a year, and I got on stage at I know like weights is like the number doesn't matter.
Fine. You're good. Go ahead. Do you?
I got down to like 120, 125. I don't think I was even born at 120, 125. Okay. So I was like, yes, girl, you have 2 children and a pandemic. Let's go.
120 is slaying
Yay! But so I got up on stage, and that moment I felt powerful. And you understand what I'm saying. When like that music comes on, that choreography, that posing, like, you know what? I might not be the smallest or the most toned, but I know I rocked that and my walk. And some of the feedback that I got from the judges was like, you are confident, your walk is amazing, like you should keep going. So I ended up doing the spring show, and then I was like, I'm gonna do a fall show, which I didn't tell my husband, but he supports me in everything I do.
I was gonna say, but your husband actually says to you, I just want you to be happy.
He does.
Which is a really amazing, like that's a strong foundation in my relationship too. At the end of the day, I just want you to be happy. So kudos to the hubby.
Yes, Steve, thank you. Yeah,
yes, Steve.
Oh, he also cooks too, because I don't cook.
Yes, Steve,
He
come
meal
through.
preps.
Come on, Steve.
Yeah, so he's that supportive. So he was like, okay, let's do it. During that fall season, because it's such a quicker season, I was losing weight like 4, 5, 6 pounds a week, which is completely unheard of, not natural, right?
Right. Let's keep it all the way real.
Let's keep it real, right? That's all about me, be keeping it real. And get on the show. I was a little bit heavier than that 120. That messed me up right away. That show day, I was like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? How many more fish and asparagus should I have eaten? You know what I mean?
Or less,
right? Like,
yeah,
what should I have done? I remember getting on stage and hearing my 2 kids going, "That's my mom," right? And that was such an amazing moment. And get off stage. You know, they really, that program also helped with like a reverse diet.
Yes.
So I was like, this
is a great program.
Yes, let me do the reverse diet. But I went crazy because I felt so deprived. I just kept eating and kept eating and kept eating, and I couldn't help it. And then the scale number was like up, because I mean, I dropped 10 pounds that, when, that last week, like that water weight. Yep.
Yeah.
After that shred, I was like, what is going on? And all of a sudden, I started going into a very dark place, like so dark. And I was like, this isn't right. Like, I'm not good enough. Like, this number's too high. Like, why can't I do this? Like, let me go back to eating this way. Like, and my husband the whole time and my support system, my friend Christy, they were just like, no, keep going. Like, you're okay. And I got into a very, very dark place. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, as much as I loved being on stage, I can't put myself through that mental again, because that mental part, because I was like, I didn't even want to be alive because that number kept going up. I think that's where I went wrong. I mean, if I look back, maybe if I had like not a better coach, but a more of a one-on-one, not like a program, that I think would have helped.
To you.
Yes, that would have helped.
But what you talk about is very real, because as a person who's competing now, I'm going for my pro card, I'm super excited.
I know.
I think I got the best advice from my trainer, Kristen. Are you doing Dig Deeper right now? Not yet. Oh no, you don't have to.
Not yet,
but you know who Kristen is.
I do know Kristen because I was going to sign up for her nutrition, because that got to me, and I was like, I'm going to try this.
So you don't ever have to do my program. You just have to
I love all of your programs.
I know you do. I'm just like, people are afraid. They're like, oh, I'm not doing it right now. I'm like, girl, I don't care. We can go to the mall and hang out.
I mean, there's plenty of videos of us doing the Let's Get Up.
We could dance if you want to. That could be our workout. But one of the most important things she told me when I told her I wanted to compete, because she knows that coming from a commercial fitness background, people are so focused on weight loss only, and they eliminate, for the most part, confidence, strength, the importance of not having a bad relationship with food. And she was like, I'm really concerned about you, Shaun. And it was humbling, because I'm like, I've been in fitness for 25 years, but I'm just like, this is the kind of friend you need that's like, this is my concern. And so she told me 2 things that were great. She was like, I don't want you to get attached to show day body. She was like, when you wake up that morning and when you're on stage, she was like, it is a sport. It is an art form. Your coach is going to make you look this way, but don't get attached to it. So for that, I just remember waking up like, this looks damn good, this 3%, but I just remember like, this is not my face though. And I still had a struggle with, just from before when I gained weight, and the initial part of my journey, I gained a lot of weight, and I was like, oh, I hate the full face. I literally just started to really accept that. I'm like, this is me, I'm handsome, you know what I'm saying? I got it together. Handsome. And it's so funny, because she says like, would you want a 197-pound face? And my coach, Justin, says this too, on a 240-pound body? Right. Like, no, you don't. So that was one thing that she said that was like really important, like, don't get attached to show body. But the other thing that was like super profound, that to this day makes me so happy and has completely changed my relationship with food. She's like, as you're going through the cut, there's gonna be a week where you feel really good about the way you look, and you feel really good about the way you're eating. And she's like, mark down that day. Because when you go past that day, you start to deprive yourself. And before that day, you might be like, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to look like. So I just think that's really important. Not to undermine the fact that you don't want to do bikini and you went there, but I think, to your point, my coach, Justin,
Yeah.
like tailors everything to my body, to my energy, knowing about my kids and what I do with them. So it's just really important. I just wanted to make a point to that because you did experience something
completely different.
Yeah, correct.
And I think, I mean, I still have my beautiful purple suit. So like,
I need to see it. You need to send me, need to post that when we post the show.
Yeah, I still have that. I still have the shoes and everything. So like, if something ever happened in my life where I have a better, because I still don't have a very good relationship with food, I think I would potentially want to do it, but it would have to be that like, you know, Justin's number and Kristen's number type situation.
What tell me about that. Like, what is the bad relationship with food? Tell me about, like, how does food make you feel and what are the triggers?
Growing up in like a very Egyptian household, like my dad was very strict. And I had to look a certain way and I had to like do things. So there were times where if I didn't look, or this is probably really bad, but
no, it's real.
I had a really terrible relationship with him because for a little while he'd have me step on a scale when I'd come over for visits on the weekends. And if I weighed more than I should have, it was like the world's gonna end and you're a terrible daughter. Nobody's gonna ever wanna be with you. So that type of negativity from somebody who's supposed to love you unconditionally really messed with my head. And I'm actually in therapy now trying to get through that because I mean, I was 15, 16, I'm still trying to work through that. So those types of things that like went through my past really struggle with food. So like if I eat something, I'll enjoy it in the moment. And then next thing you know, it's that mean girl in your head going, you shouldn't have ate that. Why would you do that? You know better. And then you feel guilty. You don't enjoy anything. And that's real. I'm working really, really hard to try to enjoy just food for what it is and not trying to bash myself or punishing myself for eating that.
I think what's really, really amazing about food is that it's so great. Like, there are times where I go to New York. I remember this one time I went out with Alex and Steve, Alex, the producer of my show, and they took me to this restaurant. And I'm like, this food is the shit. Like, I don't care how many calories are going in my body.
Yes.
It's great. It was a reminder how I say, like, I still talk to my food. If I want to have 2 Oreos that my kids have in the pantry, or if I want to have a protein shake, I'm like, what is this going to do for me right now?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, these Oreos are going to make me feel good because it tastes good, but it's not ruining my life.
Right.
Or the protein, I'm like, oh, I just finished my workout. Like, this is going to give me what I want. Not that that's going to like heal your mentality, but I also know that you have a similar relationship that I had with the scale in the past. And you said something so profound, and we've never met before.
Yeah.
How when people step on the scale, that scale is the defining moment of how their mood is going to be throughout the day. Tell me how you're navigating through that as well.
I know this is silly, but I hide the scale because I know if I go on it every single, like I said, it was going to go with my mood. So we hide the scale. And then I know like on Saturday mornings is when I go in and I'll weigh in. And then sometimes I'll have like these conversations with myself like, oh, but we went out Friday night. I have to tell myself, it's fine. It is what it is. We need to move past this. We need to work on trying to make sure that food is fuel and trying to understand why, taking that emotion out of it. Cause I love food. Like, I was just,
that's what I'm saying.
I love food. Like, I'm not a big drinker. So like, give me the tiramisu all day if you want that espresso martini, like not for me, right?
That keeps me awake at the late dinners.
But so like, so I just have to find that it's not an all or nothing type mentality. And I think with that bikini program, it was that.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't tailored to one person, it was like, okay, these 4 weeks you're doing this. These 4 weeks you're doing this.
And then you're walking in and you're comparing yourself to how everyone else's journey is going.
Yes.
And it's really hard to separate that when it's not just about you. And then obviously getting on stage in general, you're literally up there and they're like first place, second place, third place. So there is a mental strength that goes along with the process,
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's up to their perspective. You can be as cut as you want, as amazing as you want to be. If they feel like, it's okay. Like, that's how the judging works. It's not like, let me take the measuring tape and see how big your arms are. It's how that judge feels that day. And that's something that's very hard to think about. That's just from the past of my dad, right?
Of course,
so, like I said, if I ever did anything like that again, it would definitely be with a more tailored.
I just think that weight, the scale in general, at the foundation of the negativity comes from outside sources. Because it comes from magazines, it comes from us celebrating celebrities that look a certain way. I mean, look, I'm on the cover of Men's Health. It's unfortunately, the inspiration of it is almost trumped by, oh my gosh, I want to look like that, but I can't. So I want to say this to you, and I'm sure you know, the weight doesn't define you, and nothing looks as good as confidence feels.
Yep.
If you would have walked in here in your bikini body, if you weren't acting like this, I would be more focused on why isn't she confident? Like, you're sitting here like, yeah, this is who I am. So, you know, as you go throughout your day and as you're eating, I'm not saying you don't want to be healthy, because you are, because we're going to talk about your fitness being blind in your left eye. We're going to talk about that in a second. But I just want to take this opportunity to be like, no, you fly as hell. Like, you are. You know what I'm saying? You have much more going for you than a number on the fucking scale. Like, it's so annoying. Now, people probably would say to me, well, you're celebrating the fact that you're 240 pounds. But to me, it's amazing. It's the opposite of what I used to do. Like, I need to be 188 pounds. Now I'm like, I need to get to 240. I don't care what I cut to. I'm not even focused on the number. I'm focused on the aesthetics.
Thank you so much. That was so sweet.
Yeah, and you're wonderful. But wait a minute.
Okay.
I'm not being facetious when I do this, but I'm like, okay, you can't see here.
Correct.
You go to CrossFit, you're doing box jumps, and you're like, hold the phone.
Yeah, lateral box jumps. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Literally screaming at my coaches, all right? And I was like, guys, I need like help. But I actually have an amazing CrossFit community, and my coach, Chris, he just says, I don't care, do it. Like, not in a hurtful way. So when you do box jumps laterally, anything really laterally is very difficult. Like, it takes me like a couple minutes just to like go, okay, where's the box? Where's this? Because if you know a box jump, when you jump and you get that cut,
it sucks.
It's like PTSD, man. No, thank you. So trying to do that. The other thing that I struggle with is when you're doing like the big CrossFit word, I don't know if people are CrossFitters, but workout of the day is our WOD, right? Yeah. Our WOD. Anytime we have rig work, and then say there's a jump rope aspect, then there's a bar movement. That is so difficult for me, because you can have a class up to 20 or you could have a class of 8. It doesn't matter what the number is. I literally have to just be like, okay, where's that rope? Where's that rope? Because I can't see where somebody's jumping. Sometimes the newest thing I do sometimes now is, hey, can't see on the left, gotta run by. And then obviously the big CrossFit community does our opens, right? Every single year. And last year I did the opens and the wall walk-ups. I remember going, all right, well, I don't really know how I'm gonna do this, but okay, no problem. There's 2 lines and you had to be able to walk back up the wall, and then you had to go back up. Your hands had to be over the lines where the 2 marks are. So I kept getting no rep. And I'm like, what is going on? All of a sudden, I said to the person judging me, I'm like, I can't see. I don't know. So then she was like, okay, let me just see your hand for a second. Yeah. And she would, as soon as I got to where I needed to be, she'd go, tap, tap. And I'd be like, okay, because you have to get your hands past the line before you can bring your feet down. So that's how all of a sudden I was like, okay. So that was like, for my gym, sometimes they really work on trying to make sure that I'm adaptable to it, especially too if we're lifting really heavy, like, you know, those like cleans and stuff, right? You know, when I'm lifting pretty heavy and then I'm like, can't see where I'm going, the people just come right over to help with the bar. So they've been able to help with that.
I take that because I used to do Spartan races all the time. And
I did one too.
And I'm going through.
It was so scary.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm going through the Spartan race and I'm like, this sucks. And then I'm thinking how you're in a CrossFit gamer and I'm like, wow, like the perseverance. There has to be something. I talk about the soundtrack of your mind.
Yeah.
There is a seed that is constantly planted that is sprouting these roots in your head. What are you telling yourself? Because that's what they need to hear.
Yeah. So I just tell myself, this isn't going to define me. This is not going to stop me. I am going to do this. I don't care if it takes me all night to do what I need to do. I'm going to do this.
It's amazing. I think also, you know, the consistency of you wanting to push through and continue on is really great. You said something that is so incredibly amazing for everyone out there, whether they're doing my program, Dig Deeper, whether they're doing CrossFit, a Spartan race, or whether they're just trying to commit to writing their dissertation or paper. You say you're the only person that knows if you're giving 100% effort.
Yep, absolutely.
How did you conjure that up?
There have been times in my workouts or in life where I'm like, I could have done better. and I know I could have done better. And I use this as an excuse. And thankfully, I have a really great support system. My friend Christy, I'm in Boston, she's in Tampa. And there's been times where we would have conversations and she's just another perspective of something. And she, and sometimes when she's giving me these pep talks, I don't even think she realizes. And every time we have these types of FaceTime conversations, it clicks to me. And it's like, you know what? Like, I have to stop feeling sorry for myself and I'm going to do this. And that's kind of like what this motto has taken. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I can't change this. What I can do is enjoy every single color that I see. Because one day, if it goes away, I'll never be able to see that again. I enjoy these small moments. I go and I step out of my comfort zone because at the end of the day, I'm only trying to grow and I want to just be 1% better and give 100% in everything that I do.
And how are the tumors now?
I do have a follow-up with a new neurosurgeon, actually March 1st, so like a couple weeks. And we're actually in the trying to figure out what my next plan is. We're trying to figure out if there's going to be another brain surgery. They believe it's just continuing to grow. We're not 100% sure if my pregnancy had anything to do with it, with hormones. We're also looking at radiation therapy. So I'm meeting with a few doctors at MGH in the next actually couple weeks. And we'll hopefully have a plan to hopefully not have brain surgery again and hopefully just be able to just do some radiation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shaun.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Keep on inspiring. Keep on being real and energetic. And I just want to tell you all out there, number one, be kind to people because you never know what someone's going through. But also, you can use anyone out there. It's inspiration. One of the things that I do when I meet someone, I'm like, how can this person inspire me, even if I'm older or if I'm more successful? Because I just believe that we can take something from everyone to really push ourselves forward. And you really inspired me today. So thank you so much. And thank you for being here.
Of course, thank you.
We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss some teachable moments. First of all, I want to say that Sherein is energetic and I love it and I love her mindset. And there's a lot that you can take from the energy that she just displayed. But now we're about to explore what I like to call teachable moments. The essence of learning and growth drawn from Sherein's inspiring journey, which shows us how adversity reveals the road to resilience. So let us uncover some of these profound lessons, highlighting just how perspective and support systems guide us through dark times. Seeing life through someone else's lens can change our whole perspective. Social psychology tells us that by understanding just how deep someone else's challenges run, we can start to see our own troubles in a new light. You ever have a friend call you up and they're going through something and you have all the answers? You turn into the best therapist in the world, but when you're actually going through your own stuff, you can't see it. It's really interesting how when someone else is going through something, our mind just automatically clears. And that's why it's really good to, number one, talk to people and also go to therapy, because that helps you a lot too, because you are literally just talking out loud, understanding yourself a little better. But now we're going to move on to the power of resilience. Have you ever heard of those amazing stories where people overcome the odds? I mean, I was watching social media the other day and I was like, this woman literally tried to lift the car. There were people just like jumping over things that they could never do because of just the energy they needed to do it at that moment. There's science behind the inspiration we feel when we see those things. Research reveals that hearing about others' victories in the face of adversity doesn't just move us, it makes us believe in our own capacity to rise above our challenges. And it doesn't stop there. The Journal of Clinical Psychology points out that these stories of triumph can actually boost our motivation and fill us with hope, lighting up that belief that yes, we can do it too. I just remember when I was putting out Insanity and all of my infomercials, I always wanted to finish the line to say, and you can do it too. Because what you see here on this show is people pushing themselves to the next level, and they don't necessarily have a superpower. They just want and need the power to change. and you can do it too. And let's not forget about the heroes in our corner, our friends, family, and support networks. They're really crucial. Research shows that they significantly reduce stress and boost our resilience. And that's why I talk a lot about Dig Deeper Nation. Just being there with other people, seeing, feeling how other people are going through things, knowing that you are not alone can really push you to the next level of believing in who you are. The power of perspective, the inspiration drawn from adversity, and the empowerment of strong support systems are fundamental to building resilience. These elements remind us that while the journey may be fraught with challenges, the human capacity to adapt, overcome, and emerge stronger is an extraordinary aspect of our existence. They underscore the profound impact of empathy, shared experiences, and communal support in our lives, especially during times of hardship. Sherein inspired us all today. I mean, think about it. She can't see in her left eye. She's still doing box jumps. She's leaning on the people that she needs to continue to push forward. And she came here today to motivate you too. So take that transformation and put it into your own. Trust and believe in who you are, continue to dig deeper, and never, ever, ever give up. My name is Shaun T. Peace out.